How's it going, guys? I'm your host Jialo. Welcome back to a Singaporean Life, and today we are back on the PC for another heated discussion on this week's Singaporean Life episode. Okay, so this actually happened last week. I wanted to wait and see how the entire thing actually unfolded before I made this video, which is why you're getting this video only now. Okay, so this is change.org website. Okay, it is an open letter to President Halimah Yacob, save Syed Suhail. Okay, so this guy Syed Suhail, he was actually arrested on the grounds of drug trafficking, and he was originally scheduled to be executed at 0600 hours on 18 September 2020. That's last Friday at Changi prison. Okay, so his lawyer actually put forth his appeal, but it got rejected, and then his lawyer actually posted it on Facebook, and on top of that, somebody actually started this whole petition for him, and a whopping 30,000 people have signed it. This is just insane. Okay, so now I'm going to give my thoughts on this. Okay, keep in mind this is just my opinions. I don't think there are any right or wrong opinions. There are differing opinions. Okay, so you can feel free to agree or disagree with me. I will try and reply to your comment. Okay, if you give me something to discuss about. All right, so let us go through the case first. Okay, so the aim of the petition, they want to urge the president to grant clemency to this guy on his death sentence, and not at the very least to grant a stay of execution for the purposes of thoroughly reviewing his lawyer, which is M. Ravi's appeal on 16 September 2020, and to allow his family residing in Malaysia to visit him before his execution. We argue for this based on the grounds that the accused has maintained that the drugs in his possession were not for trafficking and only for his personal consumption to serve his own addiction and dependence on heroin. Drug addiction is a medical condition that must be recognized in court and serve as a mitigating factor against capital punishment. And the third point, capital punishment is a cruel and ineffective punishment. There is no evidence that it works better than any other punishment in deterring crime. Okay, so first, let me give you guys my stand on this. Personally, I feel that they should have delayed his execution, but not remove it entirely. Okay, let me explain my point as we go through this here. Okay, so let me counter argue based off the points that they have given in this article. So point 1, the accused has maintained that the drugs in his possession were not for trafficking and only for his personal consumption to serve his own addiction and dependence on heroin. So Syed Suhail has maintained that his possession of heroin was for personal consumption. Court accounts show that his addiction was escalating at the time of his arrest and that he was showing signs of withdrawal, making it all the more plausible that the drugs in his possession were not intended to be sold to anyone else. Paragraphs from the High Court grounds of decision, which indicate that one of Singapore's leading psychiatrists and a psychologist testified on behalf of Syed Suhail, corroborate this as shown below. From April 2011, he gradually increased his intake of heroin until he was taking roughly 12 grams to 18 grams of normal grade heroin a day around the time of his arrest on 3rd August 2011. He described the normal grade heroin as dark chocolate, okay, I'm not going to try and pronounce this, okay, which contained upwards of 25 grams of heroin in a 442 gram packet. Okay, he clarified that he did not reach this rate of consumption, which would cost an estimated $5,000 a month overnight. In August 2011, his dependency level had got to the point where each use of heroin was just to delay the onset of withdrawal symptoms rather than to get high. He was injecting himself every 2 or 3 hours. When he had to work, he would smoke the heroin. When his urine was tested after his arrest, it contained 33.3 milligrams of morphine. Dr. Winslow also said that if a heroin user's source was reliable, he would usually keep about 1 month's worth of the drug to ensure that the supply did not run out. If the supply line was erratic or he was unsure of his source, he could keep up to 3 months' worth of heroin. Most addicts who consumed heroin at higher levels needed to support their consumption habit by selling a portion of the heroin that they had bought to offset the cost of their own use. As his lawyer M. Ravi states, there has to be a better response than imposing death penalty on Syed Suhail, as he is a victim of his medical condition. Okay, so first off, how do you distinguish if the drugs were for his personal consumption or for selling off to people. Now, this guy has already stated, Dr. Winslow, okay, most addicts who consume heroin at higher levels needed to support their consumption habit by selling a portion of the heroin that they had bought to offset the cost of their own use. Wouldn't that mean that he is actually selling it to other people and not just for his own use? Like, if I am the drug seller, like, I would, obviously you need to pay me to get the goods, right? How, for a normal person who is working a regular job, I don't think you can get $5,000 a month, and this is just for heroin alone. I'm not even including your daily necessities like food and water. Okay, granted, he's an addict, so this could be a daily necessity to him, but I still need to eat and drink normal stuff, right? You still need your necessities like toilet paper and your clothes, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, how do you keep it up with a regular salary? Like, you can't. So then what do? You sell the drugs, which means you are actually trafficking the drugs. And who are you selling it to? Innocent people who can get addicted on the drugs, and you are harming innocent lives in the process. So this doctor has already stated that they need to support their consumption habit by selling a portion of the heroin. So based off his consumption habit, it is very likely that he's selling a portion. I'm not saying a large portion or a small portion, but it is almost certain that he's selling a portion of whatever heroin he was caught with to other unsuspecting people, other innocent people that could have become addicts because of him selling it to them. You know what I mean? So should he be sentenced to death for that? In my opinion, yes, he should, because you're indirectly harming innocent lives by trafficking drugs. You know, like, okay, you ruined your own life, and you're not seeking help before you get arrested. So that is like your problem. You know what I mean. But if you are going to traffic drugs and do other innocent people harm, then yeah, that becomes that's not just your problem anymore. That becomes society's problem, and obviously you don't want it to become society's problem. So what do? Death sentence, right? So because of that, I think that he should be sentenced to death. Okay, because of the fact that he's actually harming innocent lives by trafficking drugs. Okay, and no one knows for 100% sure, except for him himself, that all of the drugs that he's trafficking is going to his own use. No one knows for sure. Only he knows. Like, all of this, you can bring psychologists, you can bring psychiatrists, you can bring in the world's top detective, whatever. No one knows for 100% sure whether he's going to sell it or if he's going to consume all of it. You know, no one knows for sure except for him himself. And if you ask me if I'm going to be hanged, like, of course I'm going to say something that is going to save me from that, right? So yeah, there's my counter argument for this point. Just think about it. Like, if someone wants to do harm to society, why even keep them around in the first place? Okay. Point 2. Drug addiction is a medical condition that must be recognized in court and serve as a mitigating factor against capital punishment. Okay, according to IMH, the IMH's website, an addiction is a chronic, progressive, and relapse-prone illness that affects a person both physically and psychologically. Additionally, a person can become addicted to either substances or to certain activities specific to drug use. IMH provides the following list of characteristics. Blah blah blah. Based on this definition provided by IMH, Syed Suhail is suffering from an addiction to drug use. Addiction is a mental illness that deserves help rather than this irreversible punishment. I agree with this, okay? If you are suffering from an addiction, yes, you deserve help rather than to get punished for it. My question is, in the first place, why did you turn to drugs? Okay? Why do you turn to drugs in the first place? Do you have any underlying reasons for it? Were you... Okay, I don't want to speculate on why he turned to drugs. There could be a multitude of different reasons. Okay, the thing is, why did you not seek help before you get arrested. Like, why are we only using the argument of seeking help for people who have already been caught? Before they were caught, should they not have sought help before they were caught? Like, why are you only giving them the, like, why are you only letting them seek help after they've been caught and after they are about to be punished? Does that not sound like an excuse for them to get out of the punishment? Like, this is what I personally feel. Like, if I'm about to get caught and I can, circumvent it because I think that I can rehabilitate myself, why didn't why didn't this person seek treatment in the first place before he was caught? Like, can this actually be used as an excuse to escape punishment? I don't think so. Let me talk about another case, for example. I'm sure you guys have heard of all the voyeurism cases or the molestation cases that's been going on around. Does it mean that the offenders of these cases, these people who outrages the modesty of women out there, does that mean that after they've been caught, they should be given a chance to rehabilitate rather than punish them? Because as far as I know, society's stand, at least in Singapore, is they should be punished. Why are they being let off easily? Why are they given a chance? Granted, the court gives them a chance, but everyone else seems to disagree on that. I disagree on that. Like, if they are caught, they should be punished. They shouldn't be given a chance. So if you're not giving a chance to these people who are outraging the modesty of women, you're not giving them a chance to rehabilitate, to change, to seek treatment, then why are you giving this drug addict a chance? Both of it is a crime in Singapore. Like, voyeurism is a crime. Drug trafficking is also a crime. Why is there a blatant show of double standards here? That's what I'm asking. Why should this certain group of offenders be given a chance while another group of offenders not be given a chance? Why is that so? Why can't society make up their mind? Do we give chances to every single offender out there? Okay, they could be, like, I don't want to make speculation, but the people who are caught for outraging the modesty of women, can't they also have an addiction to porn or something like that which caused them to do that? So should they be given a chance to seek treatment as well instead of being punished? Does society agree with that? I don't think so. So why are we giving drug traffickers a chance? That's my question. Alright, on to point 3. Capital punishment is a cruel and ineffective punishment. There is no evidence that it works better than any other punishment in deterring crime. To execute a person who has maintained their innocence to the charge of alleged drug trafficking is wrong. Furthermore, capital punishment is an inhumane and unfair punishment against those suffering from addiction. There is also no clear evidence that capital punishment is a more effective deterrent than other forms of punishment. This is reinforced by the 2019 CNB report, which reflects that drug-related arrests have been steadily increasing. A prison sentence will serve as an effective alternative which allows for time and resources in service of Syed Suhail's rehabilitation. It's also worthy to note that drug-related sentencing disproportionately affects lower-income Malay men in 2019. Okay, blah blah blah. We must emphasize prevention, blah blah blah. To be clear, we are hanging people who are mules and addicts. Okay. So this is pretty long. I'm going to go through it one paragraph by one paragraph. Okay. I disagree with this. There is no clear evidence that capital punishment is a more effective deterrent than any other form of punishment. Just look at Singapore's low crime rates. Do you see drug dealers on the streets? You don't. Why is that so? Do we have infamous streets where people go through to buy drugs? I don't think we have one. Maybe there is one that I haven't heard of. I don't know. But compared to other countries, other Western countries, I think Singapore has done a pretty good job in preventing drug trafficking on the streets. Drug peddling, drug trafficking, whatever it may be. I think Singapore has done a brilliant job in this aspect. So if we are giving chance and we are being more lenient on these people, will it not indirectly lead to more people trying to traffic drugs, trying to peddle drugs? What will Singapore eventually turn to? If you want to be lenient now, If you want to give chance to one person, how many more chances do you have to give? And how much? Think of the repercussions, like how many more cases will stem from this one chance that you give? How many more exceptions will you have to make because you give the exception to this one person? How many people will come forward saying, accusing the Singapore law system of being of setting double standards? If you're giving this person a chance, why are you not giving the other drug trafficker a chance, you know? And if we make the death sentence, if we reduce the we reduce the punishment of trafficking drugs, we don't make it a capital punishment, so it's not a death sentence. If we make it, say, a jail term, how many more people will actually do it? Like, you've seen it in dramas happening before. If it's not a death sentence, technically, they can, the people who are asking them to sell drugs, they can just pay them a large sum of money. They're not giving up their life for it. You know what I mean? Like, if it's not a capital punishment, how many more offenders are there going to be? You know what I mean? Like, it's just ridiculous for people to think that by lowering the punishment, the crime rate wouldn't increase, because obviously if you lower the punishment, the crime rate is going to increase because people are going to see this opportunity. And if you are not going to give the capital punishment just because the person is a drug addict, does it mean that the people selling drugs, they'll have to hire drug addicts to do the work for them? Because they will then know that, hey, if you're a drug addict, you're not going to get the death sentence, so it's perfectly fine. You can sell the drugs to me because you are a drug addict, and that makes it okay. Like, isn't that going to increase the crime rate overall? Like, is that what society really wants? I don't think so. So yeah. Next up, it also talks about how it disproportionately affects lower income Malay men. In 2019, the majority of new drug users were reported to be Malay. Drug abuse, especially in the Malay community, is an issue of disenfranchisement, which is tied to socio-economic and other structural inequalities. Resources should be channeled into addressing these root issues. Okay, let me just stop right here. Like, why are we even bringing race into this issue? Come on, guys. Like, this is not even an issue of race. You can be Chinese, you can be Indian, you can be Malay, you can be Eurasian, you can be whatever, and you can still fall prey to drugs. Like, it doesn't matter your race, your religion. It has got absolutely nothing to do with race and religion. So this point, I feel, is complete bullshit. Like, this is a complete bullshit point. Come on. Your race and your religion does not affect whether you want to take drugs or not. Being Malay does not increase your chance of being a drug trafficker. That's just racist. Come on. Okay, so I'm not even going to talk about this point any further. Emphasize prevention, blah blah blah. Like, okay, emphasize prevention, yes. Rehabilitation to people who come forward to seek help early, not people who want to seek help only after they are caught and given the capital punishment, because that to me sounds like an excuse. Okay? To be clear, we are hanging people who are mules and addicts, vulnerable people who have to turn to drugs in order to escape their whatever realities. They deserve our compassion and solidarity, not a irreversible sentence that robs them of a chance at rehabilitating, renewing, and restarting. If you wanted to do all these, why didn't you do it before you were caught? That's my question. Why didn't you do it before you were caught? Why only after you were caught? Then you want to rehabilitate, you want to renew, you want to restart. Can we give the same chance to perverts who are caught? Do we want to give the same chance to perverts who are caught? No, we don't. So why are we giving the same chance to drug traffickers who are caught? Right? To carry out an execution of someone who deserves a second chance at healing is unbecoming of a country that prides itself on justice, equality, and progress. Now, you can argue that, okay, these perverts who are caught, they are not getting the death sentence. You just want them to be jailed or something, right? They can still have a chance to rehabilitate. The thing is, let's be realistic here. In a society like Singapore, that's not possible. You want to rehabilitate. Who in the right mind is going to hire an ex-convict? Like, yes, more firms are starting to see that are becoming more humane and hiring more ex-convicts, but the thing is, especially in this time and day where the COVID virus going on, and all the businesses are doing bad. And like even without COVID, like there are so many people with a degree in Singapore with a good paper, good qualifications. Why should I hire an ex-convict over these people? Over a degree holder, over someone who has a bright future, who has not committed a crime. There's no reason for me to do so as an employer. So to say that they have a second chance just because they are not given a death sentence is wrong, because these ex-convicts, if they were convicted of voyeurism or outraging the modesty of women, they technically don't have a second chance in this society, in my opinion. Like, they will either have to migrate to a new country or completely change their identity or whatnot. But even as far as I know, you can't really do that in Singapore. Your record still kind of stays with you. So yeah, to say that they have a second chance, technically yes, if you're rich, to migrate to another country and start all over. But for people who don't have that kind of money, who are not willing to leave everything behind, who cannot leave everything behind, they technically don't have a second chance in Singapore. So what's the difference from giving them a death sentence? Because they won't be able to find a job. They'll technically be suffering their whole lives because of that one mistake they made, and nobody is willing to give them a second chance. Now, let me get this clear. I'm not speaking up for these people. I'm just saying that don't do away with the double standards. If you want to give chances to everybody who is suspected of being an addict of something, whether it's pornography, whether it's drugs. If you want to make that argument, then yeah, make sure it's the same standard for everyone. If not, then every one of these people should be punished. Okay? Granting us. Okay, so they want to grant him a stay of execution. This will allow his family to visit him and give more time to him to say his goodbyes and all that kind of stuff. Blah blah blah. Okay, so I actually agree with this point. I do feel that yes, they can give him more time. Okay, for his family to visit him and all that. But I feel that he should still be given the capital punishment of death. Like, I feel that it's only humane to do so, to give his family time to visit him, but they should not change his punishment from being a death sentence to something else. So these are basically my thoughts on the issue. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, whether you agree or disagree with me. Keep in mind, this is just my opinion. You can have your own opinion, that is completely fine. And that's it for this episode of A Singaporean Life. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of such future content and heated discussions, be sure to subscribe to this channel. And until the next time, I'm your host, Jiale. Peace out.